Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here, and today we have to talk about Twitter, because if you had Twitter on your FTC massive fine level this week bingo card, congratulations, they are the data miner in question. Now here's what's going on. This is coming from MSN. Federal regulators yesterday announced that Twitter will pay a $150 million fine to settle allegations that it deceptively used your email address and phone number that it basically had collected for targeted advertising in one of the largest privacy settlements that federal regulators have reached with Twitter. Now, the FTC, or Federal Trade Commission, said the Justice Department, said that the company will also be banned from profiting off of the, quote, deceptively collected data, and be required to notify the more than 140 million users who were affected by basically this because they used their phone numbers and email addresses for advertising, and that is according to the news release. Now, Twitter will be required to implement and maintain a new privacy program that will require the company to review the security risks of new products as they roll them out. And according to Associate Attorney General Vanita Gupta saying in a press statement, and I quote, "The $150 million penalty reflects the seriousness of the allegations against Twitter and the substantial new compliance measures to be imposed as a result of today's proposed settlement, which will help prevent further misleading tactics that threaten users' privacy." Now, this Twitter fine is significantly smaller, for the record, than the $5 billion fine the FTC hit Facebook with in 2019 for something similar, but it's also slightly higher than the 2018 settlement that it reached with Uber over their 2016 data breach, which was absolutely awful. I haven't used an Uber since, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, the fine amounts to about 13% or so of Twitter's revenue for the first quarter of 2022. So obviously that's a pretty big hit. Now, critics of the tech industry have warned that such fines are toothless against some of the most well-resourced companies in the world. That's true. They are worth billions, but still, nevertheless, that's a pretty good dent. Now, Twitter first announced in 2019 that it had, quote-unquote, inadvertently mishandled users' email and phone numbers for advertising purposes, one in a string of data privacy and security mishaps at Twitter. More recently, in 2020, the company suffered a data breach that basically targeted high-profile politicians, billionaires, even Elon Musk, the soon-to-be owner, assuming he goes through with this and this isn't some wacky ploy of his, potential owner. But if you remember that, they broke into like Bill Gates and a whole bunch of others and ran a giant crypto scam on the world. Obviously, those people have some of the largest followers on that platform. Now, the regulator complaint alleges that Twitter began asking people to provide emails and phone numbers in 2013 to help them reset accounts or enable two-factor authentication. Between 2014 and 2019, as millions shared those details, the company never told them that it would be matching those email addresses and phone numbers with data from data brokers to serve ads, according to the complaint. Now, under this settlement, Twitter will be required to give people other means to verify their accounts, such as security keys or mobile apps that do not involve phone numbers. I personally use an authenticator app. When I'm dealing with Twitter, I never gave them my phone number. At least I don't think I did, although I'm sure they'll notify me at this point. Now, Twitter will also have to limit access to users' data and notify the FTC if it experiences a data breach. That's very standard for these kinds of fines. The complaint has the backing, for the record, of both the Democrats and Republicans that sit on the board for the FTC. If you recall, there's 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans. They all unanimously, apparently, are not a fan of Twitter and data mining. So heads up to you. If you use Twitter and you gave them a phone number between 2013 and 2019 to secure your account or update something, whatever that is, you may be entitled to some form of compensation, even if it's just an apology. There you go. We need to rein these in. We have serious privacy and data mining problems across all platforms. Twitter by far is not the worst, but they are definitely up there, and we cannot discount that every time we use Twitter, we are being data mined, just like we are on Facebook, Google, and other platforms. So there you go. That is your news of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, where you're obviously being data mined and possibly entitled to compensation. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well, where, same deal. That's Google. Here we are. And as always, please stay safe, stay online, and please stay private. Thanks all.